live. Holy crap. Yeah, I can't swear in the first little bit of this, or, well, I won't be able to go live for much longer. So give me 1 second here. Operator failure with the mount. Um, yeah, here. Try and do this one handed. Yeah. I might have accidentally backed out the screw a little too far. This stuff gets a little tilted. But yeah. So, gotta make some quick adjustments. So, guys, yeah. And by the yellow, that's on that one. Yeah. That's 6 shots of espresso. 6. Now, to be fair, they're half decaf because, well, it's almost quarter till 7 here at night, and I'm old. I like to do something called sleep. I don't know what that is to y'all, but sometimes I actually like to get that. I don't. Yeah, life gets a little character without it. What can I say? I get a little cranky. The people around me start having health issues. Something about spontaneously combusting without cause. So here, we're gonna. Sorry for that, guys. Slip the phone. Well, the phone gets in the mount, otherwise it gets the hose again. So, guys, this is an original um, NPC. It's the second release of these. Basically, it's a sub of AMT. It's still in plastic. I've probably built 20 or 30 of these when I was younger. I mean, I didn't even need to look at the instructions then. So, but, well, so it's been through a little worse for wear. It's like Fed Up had a fun time with it. If I had a guy mail me this one from Facebook Marketplace from Gainesville area, it's because I wasn't in that area anymore. But great little find. Hopefully, it's still in good shape because that's what we're doing here. Facebook kind of, or not Facebook, excuse me, YouTube tends to limit you. 1 second here. Um, you're pretty limited on the content you can go live with. Um, there's a lot of things I love to show you guys that I can't even show you on regular videos without getting slapped in the PP for pew pews. So, hey guys, everything here looks pretty good. The glass looks to be pretty good. These are watershed decals. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. I might for these. Depends if I want to go a little more authentic-ish. I did set up for a couple of washes and stuff here to start seeing what this thing looks like at the end. We may not complete the kit tonight. We may go do some other stuff. So, and hey guys, I see everybody here in the chat. Glad to see you. Hey, doing this without moderators and doing the phone. So if I miss your chat, I apologize. Again, guys are always welcome. Original. Yeah, this tells you how old this stuff is. See, copyright. Oh Lord, they didn't even have on that. So let's see what we got here on the instructions. X-wing fighter. Come on, guys. If you didn't love the Tie Fighter, you love the X-wing. If you love the X-wing, you didn't really care for the Tie Fighter, unless you're like me and loved them all. But everybody had their favorites. So, so it's been a hot minute. I'm pretty sure I can do this on end. Now, this is actually a part where you can glue, and we're going to glue as much as we can. When we build the wings, this is a no glue part. You really don't want to glue this because this is a moving part. It's actually meant to be used in no glue. Is what the us old folks know as a snap together model kit. It's meant to just snap together. Uh, Good day, knackers. Okay, hopefully I didn't just say something offensive in a different culture. I don't quite understand, but cheers. So it has been a hot minute since I've done these, but to tell you the truth, I've done so many of these. It's all going to come back to me, or you guys are going to get one heck of a show. I was again, got to kind of be careful on the swearing, and there'll probably be plenty of it tonight. So Yeah. 6767. Really? Really? All right, guys. From childhood memory, these guys here, the blaster cannons and how they connect here, these things are a pain and they broke all the time. Now, you can see here, I bet you got a loose nacelle hiding in here somewhere. Yep. Put that on the ground and what do you know? Loose parts. Hey, I got these spare parts. Never good when you're building stuff. Trust me, spare parts you did not have. So these are the front engine covers. I'm gonna go get them separated out. Said I really don't need much of an instruction on these. I've done a lot of them. Now, let's see. That actually came pretty clean. See if I can find the barb line. Well, guys, that actually came out pretty darn clean here. So you can see that there with the lighting. See if I can find one here. I feel an edge there, but I don't really see a barb connection. There you are. Guys, I don't know if you can see that here or not. I'm trying to get it where you can see and go. Usually if you have that kind of a little bit of an edge, take a little flat file and just gently roll it back. All right, now we're taking the rear. So, and that's even more prominent here, guys. You should be able to see that, I hope. Yeah, that's not a big deal. We're going to trim each of these up as we put them together. Trying not to let my OCD and my CDO clash at the same time. For the record, I have a real AMT kit, not the snap together one. I just picked it up last weekend. It's kind of what made me dig this one out. Um, yeah, I'm actually duly impressed with them. Let's go ahead and pull up the nacelles here. These are just coming. These again. These are they're meant to be kids' toys, guys. These things came apart awesomely. I'm probably not going to do the landing gear just because my X-wings don't land. They're always fighting. Now, something like this, where you've got these long bends, you can do two things. You can do the rock back and forth, and sometimes they come clean. I do have an unopened craft knife there, but let's do the non-OSHA regulated method and just take a semi-dull razor blade and try to cut this off and hope we don't lose fingers in the process. How about you say that? Yeah, my mother's still very much alive, and if she's watching this, uh, yeah, no, you knew I don't do safe stuff. And let's see, this is what happens when you don't cut it when you bend it. You guys can see that there. Get a little bit there. That's a little more than you want to try to file off. So I went ahead and cut it off. It's got a little bit of a nub. I'm just going to gently file that nub off. Again, snap together kit. It's designed more of a fun introductory to model kits. It's not meant to be the precision, exact detail, Hans Gruber level, if you know what I'm talking about. Your childhood was awesome. Yes. Your parents let you watch Die Hard as a child? Of course they did. I knew what was a very young age. I knew what was real and what wasn't. I knew what words were I wasn't supposed to say, and if I said them, I wouldn't be able to sit down for a month. And if I said them in public, um, my funeral would have been spectacular, I'm sure. So, all right, we're gonna put away the wings assembly just for the moment. Let's get the other piece out here out, and I may break down and pull out the Exacto knife. But so far I'm doing okay with the semi-dull razor blade. You just have to be careful with it. Still getting a little bit of edges. That's okay. I'd rather have to file off just a couple of the edges there. And sorry, guys, I keep leaning down. I was trying to read the chat scroll here. I'm just doing this on my iPhone. I'd love to say I've got a beautiful Canon Rebel TI7. I think they're on a Golf model now or a P model. Was around the latest and greatest was the 7D. So actually, I know my DSLRs. Absolutely love them. Can't afford them right now. For those of you who know me in real life, yeah, I might be opening a little bit of a shop. There's number four. Okay, yay. So no missing parts. That's always a great thing. No missing parts. So the way they design these kits, and I'll show you here in a second, um, up and down. So they had match fitting components. So these are the same externally for the laser cannon modules that fit on the wings, but on the back end, you have a female and a male post. They match to the female or male post is on the opposite ends of the wings. They did that intentionally, not so much so they had perfect uniform parts. It kind of made it a little bit more of a challenge. Again, this is an entry level kit. This is meant for kids our age. Um, Now, this kind of small parts, if this was made today, they'd have more warning labels. And well, we're not going down that rabbit hole. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off using flush cutters those because those will do damage. There's no way around that. I'll try to get as much of these as I can. Guys, these aren't even the standard little, these are little wire flush cutters. I got them from Walmart. I use and abuse so many of them even before I started doing my after school programs with the kids. I'm not going to talk about how many I went through with technology because you want to see fear in those kids' eyes. They'll tear apart a Chromebook 3100, no questions asked. Hand them a networking in, Cat 6 and a couple of pass throughs, and they will freak. They still have horror stories of that, but they all love me still. All right, guys. So, clean rack, we did something. Let's go ahead and get the other one now. Now, again, I'm not putting the wheels on. So, we're going to do a little. I'm just cutting them as close as I can without having to worry about breaking anything. You got to be careful. Like you get something like this where you have a male plug and it's right next to where the molding is. Just be careful on that. Left a little extra on there. We'll cut that out later. So the came away pretty clean. I'll have to do some cleanup on it later. Like I said, there's a couple of different ways to clean up. If you want to get creative, you should be worried at this point. So I'm just looking here. Now, this is one of the hardest things to take care of. This right here, guys, and I hope you can see it. Um, I really don't want to go too crazy. I think that's not going to give me as fine as I want. So I'm going to gently cut away with it because you can slip and take out this part here. The problem is this is such a flimsy part that I don't want to use anything strong on it. I don't want to use the file because just the motion back and forth of that will break that off. So it may again, this was meant to be a junior toy put together. Um, I'm almost rocking it back and forth. Just don't want to do any damage to it or me. All right, I'm going to call that as close as I can get. Now down here, not a problem. I can get in there. I'm not too worried about getting that male nub. And even if I did, that's what glue's for. I got a brand new unopened pack of glue right here. No big deal. I remember as a kid, some of my best memories are sitting now watching either Ghostbusters or Star Wars, putting together the Millennium Falcon, one of these. That was a pain. Um, there ever was a time that I came close to using those inappropriate words as a child, that was it. But let's just say fear of my mother, my dad. Yeah. So, all right, let's see how these guys look. That's pretty pronounced. So you know that flush cutters first. I didn't do nothing. It's just too soft of a plastic, and that's even. This is just an old resin. Um, this is resin form stuff. This is decades before 3D printed models or any of that kind of stuff was out. 3D printing wasn't even invented, as far as I know, when these things released. So these were early '90s. These were even pre. For those of you that remember them, the Power of the Force collections. These came out after the Return of the Jedi. They were still marketed as Return of the Jedi guys. So these were post 83. I think these started in the late 80s. They may have came out a little later than that, but I say may. Um, not really sure on that one. All right, so guys, give me a half second here. I'm gonna roll a chair around. We're gonna get to work. Fortunately, my shop doesn't have a whole lot of room right now because it's also doubling as storage. So hopefully I have enough of a chair where I don't land on my butt the hard way. So first thing we need to do, let's go and get the engines assembled. So we need a male piece and a female piece. And you'll notice you have a smooth end, and you have ends with holes. That hole is so you can put the engine nozzle through. Now, I'm just going to snap these together again. We're going to look at fitment. And usually you can just hold these together with just a good little bit of force. I've said they were in my teeth before when I was getting, yeah. How I didn't have more frequent ER visits, I have no idea. We are just a different generation. What can I say? But yeah, so we got them all together. So we do have a little nub sticking up here. Let's go and put these up so we don't damage them. So we do have a little bit of a nub here, guys. I'm trying to make sure you can see everything I'm doing. All right, so that's nice and smooth. We've got a cap here. This is our engine. Should just snap right on. Guys, one engine down, three to go. This is a symbol. Again, this is not meant to be a precision model. I'm trying to hold it up here where you can see it. I don't know if the camera is going to focus it for you or not. There is a little bit of a visible seam. Again, this is a snap type model. They're not meant to be. Let's adjust this down just tad for you. Snap type models, they're not meant to be the perfect models. If you've ever done snap types, they're basic models, guys. Just take your time with them. So let's go ahead and do next one again. Make sure you have smooth to smooth, hole to hole. There's a dirty joke in there somewhere, I'm sure. All right, and this one's got the male prongs are bent. That could have just happened from the factory, whatever. I'm going to bend them back in place. For whatever reason, they didn't bend or they broke. That's where glue comes in. Again, these were just stamped off an assembly line. Um, I don't remember where AMT was made. I don't think it was the US of A, guys. I think it was somewhere else. And that one actually snapped together real nice, which is kind of surprising. It snapped so well. I heard it snap and went, oh my God, what I just break? So, two engines down, two down. Yeah. There's no Irish in this coffee, trust me. Straight espresso. All righty. Let's get three and four. Then we assemble the wings. Again, they go together fairly easily. I say this, I'm about to put that one on backwards. Yeah. So, guys, just again, just snap it on in. Rinse, wash, repeat. Not bad for, I'm like, I glanced at the instructions, like, oh, yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, I'm good. I don't need them. Like I said, I'm kidding you not. I have literally probably done 20 or 30 of these as a kid. The larger X-wings, probably about 15 to 20. The A-wing, B-wing tie interceptor kit, which was one of my favorites. I didn't do the interceptor that much. To be fair, I hadn't quite learned the art of masking at that point. I was trying to do a lot of hand painting and then trying to do this detail spraying, and I was probably 8 or 9. I didn't have a clue what the heck I was doing, and I made a mess of it. So the interceptors were a royal pain for me. All right, this one's got some edges. Let's just take that burr off here. Got a couple of them. I'm guessing this was that one that was on the end that was held on by two different pegs. Hi back there, Cash C9I. So guys, I'm trying to pay attention here to the stream. Um, yeah, I just ask, be nice to each other. Don't try to sell crap off of my stream. Obey the rules, please, just for all of us. So make everybody happy, happy. Alrighty, there we go. So now we have wing nacelles, we have the engines, and we have the laser cannons. We also have the ends. So this is your front stabilizer. This is the back plate, which also has your other wing stabilizer. So we're going to take each wing and complete them first, but I don't break them. So we've got a male insert. So we want a female insert. And you'll see how these things line up. You have the flat portion, and then you have the back tail end of the nozzle. It'll just fit right in and should just snap. There you go, right on in. So now we're going to come over to, let's make sure that gets nice, good and level there. It is. Now, guys, this gap here, if I remember correctly, that was kind of normal with them. Again, not into precision stuff. This stuff wasn't that way. As far as the engine mounts, you see you have two little holes here. They correspond, of course, to these two little pegs. Snap right on in. Try to where you can see it. Hey! So now we need to do the laser cannon top. We have a female in, so we're going to grab a male in, male to female, giggity. Ah, didn't catch that. Let's see if I can fix that. Sorry, I got a little bit of a nub there. I may have to, gotta be careful while doing this. Here we go. Let's see if we can get you out of the way. There we go. Ah, got it. It's the small things in life. Literally, the small things that snap into place. Um, so let's go ahead and do this. So you have two parts of the engine. You have the back has a bit of a lip. That lip goes up over the cowling, and you have a bit of a recess here. That goes into that recess, and it should just snap right in and line up, and you'll feel it seat. So what you try to do is line up with the sides of it, that manifold. Again, little gaps are normal. I'm gonna reverse that and see. I don't like that too much. Maybe I'm being an idiot. Oh, that stands out even worse. Okay, we're gonna go with that. So one thing that does drive me nuts with these kits, again, my OCD does bother me where I have these little gaps. I mean, that's a much more obvious gap. Um, got a little bit up here on the top end. I try to make sure the engine's straight and level how it would have been for the original model. We're gonna go and flip this guy over. And we're gonna do the other side. These little holes here are for the landing gear. We're not gonna use that. So now we have a female in, so we need a male insert. See if you can get it in there. And all I'm doing is just putting it in place, snapping her on in, and it doesn't go anywhere. So be careful of the engine. Remember, guys, these things are only press fitted in. So yeah, just be wary. Engine. Go ahead and just snap her on in there. Again, let's see if you can get there where you guys can see that. Alrighty. Engine nacelle, main engine. And then we have a female cannon in, so we need a male. This one's also got the same burr tip, so let me go ahead and clean that up real fast. Yes, I do everything OSHA regulated at work. I swear, if my boss is watching this, he's probably screaming bullshit at the screen. Nope, there went the first curse word. Well, Greg, you made it 25 minutes before you finally sweared, but target market thing is not for children anyway. So, and I'm to be fair, the channel is still so young. I'm not getting monetized at this point. So we have one completed wing. We got one more to do, guys. All right. Now you can see here, this has got the long end peg with the male in. The wing we got to assemble has the female receiver. They're just going to go in like that. You got to end the birds and the bees lessons. You just did. All right. Male insert for the engine to sell. Let's go ahead and get that in there. Again, just kind of snaps in place. So loose fit, not the end of the world. I can get it in there and going. Engine, scalpel. Not yet. So, all right. Ooh, that's a little rough there. As you go and buy the parts, because like I said, this isn't a precision part, but try and take a little bit of pride into it and that kind of stuff, guys. So I've only got one active viewer right now and 5 likes. So again, I appreciate that. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Gonna trim that up here again. Guys, this is actually not my normal content. This channel's best if anybody's watching or catching this on replay. Um, my channel's best described is ADD or ADHD if I have enough caffeine in me. I have everything from pew pews. Heck, I've got all my SDI libraries up here and included. It's actually how a lot of y'all found me. So once I completed, and actually I'm opening up my own shop, Jazz Streamer Tactiche. If you're in the 904 area, if you're willing to travel to the 904 area, right now we have a grand opening set for July 1st. There's a couple reasons for July 1st. One, July 1st starts the SOT tax season, where I can make the special kinds of pew pews. The business model is literally working around, and of course that is, making what's known as SBRs, particularly on a very fun platform, Heckler and Koch's SP5, making which is a civilian pistol version of the MP5. Which you ask anybody who's known me for more than 15 seconds, that's my jam. I have loved that thing since I was a kid. Again, going back to the Die Hard reference. Interesting enough, not a huge Bread 92 fan. And I grew up on Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, a few others. I've owned one. Actually sold it to my dad, and not probably 6 months after that, had a major ejection cycling problem. The Beretta warranty was expired at that point. Hashtag they don't have a lifetime warranty. They really don't, and they should. If you can't lifetime guarantee your guns, what's the point? So, all right, guys, so that's a symbol. All right, a moment of truth. Dun dun dun. Ta-da! It works. And here's the thing: we didn't screw up. The landing gear side is there, and there actually are little pegs in the wings to help hold them together in the cruise position, which is good because we need to put our front plate on and make sure it's at the correct orientation, and then the back plate on. And there we go. So there we go. We have a good set there. Now I'm going to take the base of the X-Wing and I'm just going to slide our pieces in. Ah, we lost an engine. I've only got 3 green. If you know that reference, well, you enjoyed all the X-Wing novels as a kid growing up, which I'm quasi responsible for Dennis Lawson um, reading those. He was doing a virtual con with it was Daniel Logan and a few others, and I paid to actually get to ask questions with him during COVID. And surprisingly, he they actually liked my question, so they read it and they asked them. Well, of course they did because I paid for it. In the chat, but it was, have you ever followed your character's arc outside of the films? He's like, no, I never really have. And Daniel Logan, God bless that son, he makes me look normal as far as when it comes to being a Star Wars nerd, which he did the exact opposite of Jake Lloyd. He didn't have half as much of a problem growing up. He never got the little orphan Annie crap that Jake Lloyd went through. And I mean, my heart's off to Jake because he went through hell. He went through hell. There's no way about that. Um, it kind of helped that Attack of the Clones was a lot better than the Phantom Menace. And to be fair, the Phantom Menace was targeted at that younger generation, where Attack of the Clones were really kind of meant for us. It was the old Star Wars nerds who grew up on the old trilogy. I was born in '83. I was born almost a month to the day after Return of the Jedi hit theaters. So, guys, we're just trimming up the clear plastic glass here. It's got a little locking tab that fits into the nose of the X-Wing here. Now, I'm not going to glue this down. I normally would, because if I want to come back and paint this, and I'm pretty sure I am, um, which is why I'm not putting on the decals right now. All right, let's see if I can get you nice and level there. If I wasn't gonna paint it, then different story. I do want to paint this thing. We're gonna do that in a separate video, guys. I might not live it. Just depends on how many more people come up. Right now, I just say I'm at 0. People got bored pretty quickly. To be fair, watching me for 30 minutes build an X-wing model, yeah, kind of a how-to. But if you can find them, I'll come back and I'll finish this thing out. But hey, she's together. Red 5 reporting in. I never could do the R2. For guys that are watching it later, consequently, this is the same stem and stuff that came for the B Wing. Believe it was the B Wing. This is their cockpit glass that would be inserted in for that. Again, this was built kind of cheaply. So, for guys who wanted really the gun content on the channel, for my first live stream, I was extremely advised not to do that. Um, for the nerd side, guys, I mean, if you're catching this on the back end, where the video is uploaded, um, yeah, I mean, y'all know me, so I'm still pretty impressed that I was able to do that and do that on memory. I'd love to show you guys like disassembly and cleaning on any of my firearms. The problem is YouTube is more crazy about that than they are about full auto or any of that kind of stuff. So um, I hate to say that might go into like a members only site or something like that, where um, or even off into a different platform is possible. I'm not going to do that to you guys. All right, we're going to hold off on painting today. I want to decide if I want to keep this and do the watershed decals. Do I really risk 40-year-old decals? In fact, I've got the date here. Hope you can read that. Trademark 1982. This came out prior to the movie. It's older than me. Shouldn't look that bad for being that old. All right, guys. As always, stay tuned. I'll catch you in the next one.